Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the ShadowSphere.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of ShadowSphere. And today we are talking with Canadian Deathmatch founder Shawn. Uh, Man, it's been a year and a half since we last spoke. You've since opened the doors. You've had numerous events. You're the must-see product in the Southern Ontario right now. Man, how has it been? How are you enjoying this beautiful, hot summer day?
I mean, it's hot out there. So peel back the curtain a little bit. I'm a teacher by day, and I work summer camp during the summer. So definitely warm enough for me out there. Too warm, but yeah. In terms of the company, I mean, it's been great. I mean, I think the reaction has been way more than we could have ever anticipated when I talked to you last. I mean, I think I think we had our goals we tried to keep realistic, and I think in a lot of ways we've blown past them with having shows at Lee's Palace, and now we have a regular spot at Sneaky D's, which is just so mind-blowing, coming from being one of those punk kids that went to those shows at Sneaky D's and Lee's Palace and all that. So um yeah, it's been a pretty special experience. And me and my co-founders, Maddie and Dylan, I mean, we talk all the time about how we can't take a minute of this for granted, right? Like tomorrow, people could decide, you know what, as you said, maybe we're not the hot new product anymore. Where there's another new product, or maybe the wrestling boom is over, or whatever. So, we really try to take all of this and really appreciate it, because it's not going to last forever.
And obviously, I was supposed to attend the first Crazy Eight tournament. Other circumstances prevented that. I was able to come to Crazy Eight in April and finally put faces, other than screens, to faces. Man, it was such a pleasure to meet you guys. My first show in person was amazing. The experience was great. The cast of people you had there, your staff, the wrestlers themselves, man, you guys know how to put on a show, especially in a legendary venue as Jamania, man.
Yeah, I mean, getting to work in the Germania Club has been such a special thing for us. I mean, growing up on the Hamilton wrestling scene, I mean, Germania was the venue. It's a venue that a lot of wrestling companies continue to run out of today. It was great that you finally got there. Got to see a show there. We kind of consider our ring shows to be, that's where we started. We did that first ring show, which is the Crazy Eight, which you mentioned, and then you were out making a scene in the fall. I mean, I'm curious what you thought. What stood out to you? What in your mind made this a different show from others that you've experienced?
And I've never been to a no ring show, and to come in and just see that, I compared it to legitimately a mosh pit for professional wrestling.
Yeah, I think that's the idea, right? Is lean into that punk and hardcore audience. Uh, you know, our show in January there, we had a band as well. So you kind of missed the band experience by being at this last one, but we did do more matches, so we still tried to give the value that we could. But yeah, we really tried to. I mean, there's no other wrestling experience like this where you are within feet of the wrestlers as they're competing, like 2, 3 feet. Sometimes they're right up against you. They're fighting between you and the person right next to you, right? There's nothing like this. Like, the ring is obviously special. I am a wrestling traditionalist at heart. I love professional wrestling, but getting into that no ring, it's a completely different experience, and not in a bad way. I think it makes the fan experience that much more unique.
Dude, the no ring is a hell. If you haven't been to a no ring, obviously you have, but speaking to the audience, if you've
I
never been
have,
to a
yeah.
no ring show, even if it's not a hardcore scene, if it's a no ring,
Mhm.
give it a chance because it's got that schoolyard fight feel.
Yeah, I think we try to lean into having kind of that, there's a little bit of that bar fight atmosphere, a little bit of that, fight on the street atmosphere, but you still get pieces of that traditional wrestling. You're still getting some wrestling stuff, and as I try to kind of shape what our no ring experience is going to look like moving forward, I do want to, provide more opportunities for even more traditional wrestlers to at least give this a try.
And I've been saying it throughout this series that I did. Thanks to Canadian Deathmatch, I was able to do a 14 episode series. This is a part of it. We had to for a little bit scheduling conflict, so we're doing a little bit later than the rest of the series. But thanks to you guys, I was able to sit down and talk with many people that you guys have opened the door for me to meet because I came to the shows. But and everybody I've spoken to, there's such a wide base and variety, right? Like ones are from traditional, one is strictly just coming into deathmatch, one is doing this. Nobody has said anything negative about Canadian deathmatch. They think it's great, and you know what, man? That's a testament to the three of you and Billy doing a wonderful job making sure everybody is feeling safe, everybody's secure. Like, man, I don't know how you do it. You're a booker. I don't know, man. It's a lot of stress.
Yeah, being a matchmaker is a lot. I mean, you're dealing with wrestler egos and you're dealing with trying to put together the best cards you can and giving, talent opportunities that they deserve. But, if you're moving somebody up the card, that means you're moving somebody else down the card. So, I mean, there really is only so many spots. The amount of people who have reached out and said, like, hey, we want a shot at the Canadian Deathmatch Championship. I mean, I think that is something I really take a lot of pride in because it means that the belt means something to people. And people want to hold this belt, or people at least want an opportunity at it. P Skills has had his, a strong grasp on it for quite a while now. But yeah, I mean, we're really excited about where the company is and where things can go from here. I mean, there's so many different places we can go. I mean, you and I have talked about, trying to do something down your neck of the woods. We got
Yeah.
people in Newfoundland reaching out and being like, how can we get this here? We want to do a no bring. What's it going to take to get the Canadian Deathmatch Championship out here? Like we've got, people, we've had that title defended across multiple provinces, multiple countries. I mean, it's like I said, it's been so much more than we could have ever anticipated it being when we talked a year and a half ago, right? Like, the goals then were to build something sustainable and bring something new to the Southern Ontario scene or the Ontario scene. And I think we've done all that. I think we've stayed true to what the mission statement was. And, you talked about how nobody has anything bad to say about us. Like, I mean, you can't please everyone, but we do go out of our way to make sure that, we like to think everyone is treated fairly and given a place where they can at least express their opinion.
Oh,
We've got
100%.
talent who feel super comfortable coming to us and saying like, "Hey, I think having to go on first at that last show was bullshit," and it's like, "Okay, that's fair. Here's why I thought that was reasonable, or here's why I did that." And they can either say, "You know what, I get it now that you've explained it," or they can say, "You know what, F you, like I don't want to do this anymore." Like we have a place where people can express their opinions and we share ideas. It's not just like a matchmaker tells you what to do. It's like, here's what I'm thinking, you know, that Kyle, here's my plan. How can we make this better? How can I do how can this is what I need from a finish or like a conclusion of the story. How can you help me get there in a way that's going to help you the best?
Man, I subscribe to IWTV and I've gone over the catalog of all the events so far in Canadian Deathmatch. And the storytelling that you tell, the wrestlers telling, it's and I'm not blowing smoke when I say this, and it's not being biased. This is me being a realistic wrestling fan who is very jaded by the TV wrestling nowadays.
Hmm.
But watching this stuff that you're doing in continuation, like the Vander Cruz and hardcore stuff, and Brandon St. James and Tyler Arrow, like the continuations of the storyline. Some of them are there with legitimate issues that need to be worked out. The
Yeah.
storyline that's just developed because of those issues that have happened. You guys are doing an amazing job when it comes to that.
Thank you. It's something I take a lot of pride in. I consider myself to be a student of the great matchmakers before me. I watch a lot of, the Jerry Jarrett stuff or, Sam Munchnick in St. Louis. Like I am someone who goes back and watches, especially like the territory stuff. Like I'm constantly fascinated with how we tell stories in a way that feels authentic in a sport that too often people look down on. You know what I mean? Like we
Yeah.
can do we can do amazing stories, and we work with incredible wrestlers all the time who some of them have legitimate beefs. They want to get in there and they want to beat the shit out of each other, and for us it's just giving them a platform to do that. You know what I mean? So um yeah, I mean, Paul Heyman talked about this recently, how the writers for WWE should be entitled to being up for Emmys, which I agree with. But I mean, we try to take pieces of all the wrestling that's come before us, and that's me in the matchmaking, and Matty helps me with the matchmaking too, and his graphic designs. Like we're constantly sending like black flag posters from the 1980s back and forth to each other, being like, hey, how could we incorporate this into our aesthetic moving forward? Or I love this, the way this lettering is on this zine from 1992. Like how can we work that in? But then you've also got the wrestling side, right? Like uh, I don't think anyone watches more old school wrestling than I do. It's the love of my life. I say that all the time, as much as my partner might not agree, but it is the thing that I love with my whole heart. And I constantly approaching it with that student mindset of like, how can I incorporate this? Like you were there at the Crazy Eight this year. You saw the shirt that Josh Vandacruz wore. It said, "I broke Hardcore's leg." That was a throwback to Greg the Hammer Valentine wearing the exact same shirt when he broke Wahoo McDaniel's leg in 1976 or whatever it was. Like we put those little nods in that I don't even think people recognize half the time, and it's just like those things that maybe if someone watches in 20 years they'll pick up on. We try to tell stories that have like both the obvious stuff, and then those things you'll look back and be like, oh, I didn't notice that the first time.
And you're doing it, like I said, you're doing a great job of it. Uh, excuse me. One of your, all right. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. One of your like mainstays that have been a part of almost, I believe, every show is that Kyle, and he's becoming a
Yeah.
homegrown talent within Canadian Deathmatch.
Yeah, I mean, I think if people look back at that first show that we had together, we talked about how important it was going to be to kind of building that homegrown talent and having people who would be our mainstays, and giving them opportunities. And I mean, I wouldn't say we gave Kyle anything. He had a spot on the first show and he worked very hard. He got a great crowd reaction. He put on, arguably the match of the night against PD Skills on that first ever show. He came back out. He had great matches against, a lot of different opponents who were at different points in their career. He had that Tyler Hill match. That was the no ring. He had a no ring match against Matthew Grant, and then he had a match against Rush Rancid. I mean, these are guys who some of them were in their first death matches. Some of them were nearing the end of their careers. That was the, you know, third last death match that Tyler Hill had in his career. So, um, he's a guy who has worked very hard. He had a name established before us, so I'm not taking credit for that Kyle being completely homegrown by us, but I think we've done a good job of giving him a platform, and he's done a good job of rising to the occasion, and really making himself a must see talent for us.
But that's what I mean. Like maybe not necessarily in the sense of like MJF AEW, but like
Right.
obviously Kyle is doing wonders on with this. Another guy doing wonders who I've become a personal fan favorite of now is Wade Allen.
Yeah.
He is a monster among men.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, I mean, I think Wade is maybe closer to that idea of being a homegrown talent in the sense that, like, he had done hardcore before, but he had not gone to the levels that he has with us over the last year and a half. And the fans have really taken to him in a way that I don't even think we could have anticipated, the CTE chants, the can't stop Wade. I mean, you've been there, you've seen it, you've heard how loud those crowds can be when he comes out, and I think Wade is a superstar in the making. I mean, he's won 8 matches in a row for us. He has been unstoppable, and he's well on his way to a title shot.
I mean, as it should be. I'm not the Booker
Yeah.
man, but I'm telling you, that man is going to be a future champion when it comes to Canadian Deathmatch and beyond. He will be a world champion by the end of when it's all said and done.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing amazing things with Hybrid. He's doing amazing things with us. He's been down in Pittsburgh for 880. He went over and did interspecies wrestling and now deathmatch tournament. I mean, he has been everywhere. He's on fire. He's one of those guys that in a year from now, I was having the books. I'm taking Wade to come with me list, and Wade is one of them for sure.
Wade is somebody in my mind that I would build a company around 100%. He's got the charisma. He's got the skill set. And
Yeah.
he's well on it. And this is no shot at Wade, and Wade knows this because I've talked to him. And he's cutting down on the physique to be more easy for everybody to work with. Not that he was ever hard to work with from everything I've seen, but he's working
No.
hard.
Yeah, he is. He's working hard. He wrestles as many matches in Ontario right now as anybody. I mean, he's working 3 to 4 times a weekend easily, sometimes double shots. I mean, that guy is working his ass off, and he deserves everything he's received, and not even received. I mean, he's worked for it. He's earned it. He is going to be a star. I think, if he keeps winning the way he has, I mean, he's going to be a future champion for us as well. I think a title shot is right around the corner, whether it's the No Ring or the Canadian Deathmatch Championship. I mean, there's no reason to think he couldn't make a run in the Crazy Eight again next year. I mean, he made the finals in 2025. This year he was in that, we did an inter-province death match against Loke. So he wasn't in the tournament, but I mean, there's no reason he can't win it all. He could be the first Triple Crown winner for us in the tournament, the championship, and the No Ring title. Who knows?
I mean, all due respect to Wade, but that's a tall task against Brandon St. James.
Of course, Brandon St. James is, Brandon St. James, man. I mean, that's a guy who in some ways, I feel very proud to have brought him in and, established him as a main event player, someone who no one else in Canada thought to bring in and give any kind of platform to. And we've given him a spot to, and he's a main eventer for us. He can main event any card we put on. And, the crowd reacts to him very, negatively, but in a good way, right? Like, they love to boo him. They love to boo the shit out of him. And in other ways, he's a bit of a pain in the ass. So, talent can be like that, right? Like, that's Brandon for you.
Brother, when I say that I've watched many clips, many videos, everything a deathmatch beforehand, but getting my first live introduction in person at ringside, my first introduction to that match style is St. James and Tyler Arrow.
Yeah.
I couldn't have asked for a more banger of a match to start my fandom on in person.
I mean, that was the conclusion of, a feud of two guys that don't like each other, man. I mean, they had that match in September where they crowned that original No Ring champion. That was the main event at Lee's Palace. Very proud to have helped run a show there. And they were the main event. And, that move off the scaffold on the stage to the floor, Tyler Arrow's career was legitimately almost over. 9 cracked ribs, concussion, a pierced lung. I mean, that was as scary a situation as I've ever been in as a promoter and a matchmaker. Screaming at fans to get away from him. We were almost fist fighting people. I mean, it was a scene, man. And I mean, we're so thankful that the time made a full recovery. He's in the best shape of his career now. And then they went back and forth. They were in each other's DMs yelling at each other. And you know what? As a matchmaker, I mean, as much as you don't want your talent to hate each other, I mean, it just made so much sense to have them face each other in that opening round match. And you were there for that, and like you said, what a way to start that card off.
But with that said, too, because you said, you have people like Brandon St. James, who everybody loves to hate, but you have a faction within the company right now that loves to hate you guys, and that is the industry. What is the beef with the
Yeah.
industry and you guys, man?
I mean, it's pretty simple. I mean, the industry is a group of people that think, deathmatch wrestling has either gone too far or doesn't really have a place in professional wrestling. So they've come here as a group to try and tear us down from the inside out. Like, Josh Vandercruz and Hardcore is another rivalry between two guys who present themselves very differently and think about professional wrestling very differently. Josh Vandercruz is someone who is a legitimate wrestler. He's a great wrestler, and he's easy to hate when he comes in and breaks the leg of Hardcore, who everybody loves, including yourself. And I've never seen anyone as tough as Hardcore. He was sitting there with a broken leg, and I was like, "Do you need anything? Are you okay?" And he's like, "I'm fine. I'm fine." And he so clearly wasn't fine. And then a few days later, he sent me the X-rays with the screws in his legs, and he's like, "Oh, I guess I wasn't fine." And I was like, "Yeah, no shit, bud."
Yeah, I remember that
And one of
conversation
those,
with him, too.
excuse me, one of those feuds that just so naturally comes along in professional wrestling, where one guy hurts the other, and then they wanna tear each other apart. I'm sure we'll get into that more as we move on in this conversation, but. The industry, I mean, Matthew Grant, another one of those traditional wrestlers. Every weekend, he's out there doing traditional wrestling. He saw an opportunity to come into this company, and I mean, if he has his way, I don't think we'll exist anymore. Or maybe he'll win the Canadian Deathmatch title and throw it in the trash. I don't really know what his plan is, but you know, the kind of guys, the kind of people now that Jesse Mack has joined them that you know you don't really want in your company, but at the same time, if they keep being successful, it's hard to really get rid of.
Man, at New Noise Volume 4, and watching Hardcore and Rush take on the industry, and
Yeah.
Jesse turning at the end, I did not see that coming. And I talked to her just recently before that, and I didn't get any inkling that she was on the cusp of doing something drastic like that with her career.
Yeah, I didn't think so either. I mean, she kind of always comes to the shows, whether she's on them or not, because Matt Cash is often on them and always friendly. I mean, even at New Noise Four, like you said, like super friendly before the show. There was no like sense of what was to come. I didn't even really see her interact with Josh or Matthew Grant. So I mean, whatever the plan was hatched prior to that show. This was not a last minute thing. So yeah, it was really disappointing because Jesse's been such a wonderful addition to the roster. She was in the original Crazy Eight tournament, and now all of a sudden, I don't know if it's because we didn't have enough bookings for her, or she's kind of wants to do more traditional wrestling, or what. But yeah, she's aligned herself with some nefarious people, to say the least.
Man, yeah, and like you said, Matthew Grant is a worker that's going and going.
Yeah.
The No Mercy bar fight, which happened at New Noise Volume 4, which I was just alluding to. He
Hmm.
was telling me during the interview that he did the graphic for that in a very old school N64 way. And
Yeah.
man, I loved that. That was such a nice touch.
Yeah. I mean, he's constantly on our ass about not being the first one announced for shows and all this stuff. So he often will just go ahead and announce himself, even though like we are going to do, we give him the same respect we give every other talent on the roster. But he kind of works by his own pace. So if he wants to be announced one day, we'll just wake up and we'll see that he's done an announcement. He has those graphic skills, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he can do that, I guess. But uh, yeah, I mean, he's another guy who I think is capable of a lot, but getting tangled up with Josh Vandercruz in the industry has not necessarily been the greatest thing for him. I mean, you were there when he had that rough go in with Jesse Amato at the Crazy Eight, that door
Oh,
that wouldn't.
brother. That door went into business for himself.
I mean, I think that door also hates the industry. So
That
uh,
door, Hulk Hogan, Matthew Grant.
I maybe owe that door a rate for what it did to him. So
Oh man. Just it's nice to get the conversation with you a year and a half after we've spoken. Before this was a vision when we spoke in
yeah,
November of 24. It
is
was
that when
three
it
boys.
was? Wow.
It was three boys with a dream. And you're very all nervous going
Yeah.
into the new year, into the show. So, what is Shawn from 24 telling Shawn in 26, and what is Shawn in 26 telling Shawn in 24 now?
I think that Shawn in 26 is telling Shawn in 24 probably that it's all going to work out, stick to the plan. Like, you've got something here. I don't know what Shawn in 24 is telling Shawn in 26. Probably to just enjoy the ride. Like, just those reminders to just, this is a special thing we have. And even if we never ran a show again, we've done something here that is, we have a little tiny sliver of a legacy in professional wrestling now. And as a lifelong wrestling fan, as we talked about last time I was on, that really means something to me. It's something like truly cherish and feel very blessed to have. And I mean, I know that we're just running a somewhat small independent company, but we talk to talent from around the world all the time. We've got people from Australia who are like, if you give me a spot in the crazy eight, I'll fly myself in. Like crazy shit like that happens fairly regularly where some of the biggest names in the history of deathmatch wrestling are reaching out to us saying, how do I get on one of your shows? I mean, just things that we couldn't even have fathomed, like working Lee's Palace or having a regular gig at Sneaky D's. Like, these are things that were just so unattainable 2 years ago that have now happened. And now I think the biggest thing is, okay, where do we go from here? When we have those team meetings, it's just like, how do we continue to grow at a rate that makes sense for us and secures our future so that if we want to still be doing this in 5 or 10 years, we can. And I think it's something that we've really tried to do, and I'm really proud of the way that we've built the company. We haven't pinned it all on outside guys. We've built the talent that I told you 2 years ago we wanted to build. Those same names that I'm pretty sure I said to you, whether it's Tyler Arrow or that Kyle or Wade Allen, these are the same guys who are headlining shows today. The show you were just at, that was Wade Allen in a main event. He was the face of that show. Even though we were hoping to have the No Ring World Championship there, but even without that, we still had a great crowd. People that came out were very excited, very, a hot crowd, as they say in professional wrestling. Those guys who, we could not have headlined with Wade Allen a year and a half ago, not because he didn't have the talent, because he wasn't known as a deathmatch guy. Now we could put any of those names I just mentioned. PD Skills can headline any show that we have. Matt Cash can headline any show, and they were able to headline before. Now we've got that Kyle and Tyler Arrow, and Brandon St. James, and Wade Allen, and all these guys who can headline any show we want to put them on. Those are the faces of the company now, and knock on wood, the future of the company if they can keep to their winning ways.
And that's the important part, right?
Yeah.
My next question I would have for you before I start getting into what's coming up here with you, what is it like now? Because like you started out 25, first year of Canadian Deathmatch, but now you're working with companies in Quebec, interspecies.
Mhm.
You're working with Hybrid down in, I believe they're in Dunnville.
Yep.
Like you're working with 880 in a sense down in Pittsburgh.
Some of their talent for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Like not maybe not in partnership, but you're working with some of their talent. Blah blah blah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Um, you have guys like Brian Samuels coming from New Beginnings in Oshawa.
Yeah. We got guys from all over the place.
Like, what is that like as a company working with all these other companies, whether it's just bringing in their talent or actually collaborating on a show?
Yeah. It's an interesting mix of things because we've always said, and we probably talked about it before when I talked to you, is like collaboration was going to be a big part of what we did and building a scene. Our show in the fall was called Making a Scene. It wasn't just like, you know, we wanted to build something that was sustainable, that was bigger than our company. I think that was, I think that I really kind of harped on last time I talked to you, was building something that was bigger than us. And working with all these companies has really helped us do that. Hybrid is better for having worked with the guys that we've made stars of. Like a Brandon St. James and Casey War and MV Young are all guys that worked for us before they worked there. And working with interspecies has been amazing. Like there's so much good talent in Quebec right now. And, having this partnership where we can send guys there to get experience, they can send guys here to get experience, or we are in talks to, knock on wood, hopefully do a collab show with interspecies at some point. That's something we really want to do. We just got to figure out the logistics of it. But, we have so many great partners that we work with. So, I mean, the positive thing is like we can pull talent from anywhere in Ontario, Quebec, the Northeast. I mean, we've had talent come in from Calgary. Christian Starr's been in a few times, another amazing talent. And then not a downside, but the thing I think that I have to be most mindful of is making sure that I'm putting our company's interests first, right? So I have
100%.
to make sure, if we're doing a partnership, our wrestlers are put in matches where they can show, their best selves. And I don't always have say over that. I don't control where the wrestlers work. We don't have exclusive contracts with them. But if it's a partnership sort of thing and they're coming in, I want to put our guys in positions, not necessarily where they definitely have to win, but in a position where I think that they're going to at least have a chance to show what they can do. We had Thomas Leduc on the show, the interspecies wrestling, the ISW now deathmatch champion, came in and faced off against Brian Samuels. I mean, Brian Samuels is a guy who was not on our radar last time we talked and has made a name for himself. He had one of his first shots at Real Deathmatch Gold on that show. I mean, we're proud to have given him those kind of opportunities, and having guys like Loic Duplessis and Thomas Leduc come in, and we plan to have, we had Green Phantom in. We're obviously having Sexy Eddie in September. So, we have a good relationship with a lot of the Quebec guys. We have a great relationship with Hybrid. We've regularly, given Wade the opportunity to defend his title. The 880 guys are amazing. Obviously, as much as James and I don't necessarily agree on a lot of things, I think in the ring, there are few independent wrestlers better than Brandon St. James today. And Casey Ward is there with him, and FB Young. I mean, between those three and all the other talent that's down there, some guy named John we had in last year. I think 880 has something really special going on that people need to pay more attention to. I think we're really lucky. We've done work with Frantic. We've done work with a number of companies, and our DMs are always open. We always tell companies and people, like, shoot us a message. I mean, I can't guarantee that we can do something, but we're definitely open to the conversation. I mean, that's how you and I started chatting, was just a DM, right? Like, hey, you want to come on our
Exactly.
show? And I've seen your post recently of like, if you want to have an opportunity, you need to chase it. It's not going to come to you. So,
Yeah.
I think about that from our company's perspective. Like, nobody gave us anything. We were just three working class guys who pooled our money, and we're very lucky to have support from guys like you and Scott, our cameraman, who jumped on board really early on, and Billy jumped on board really early on. Just kind of believed in the vision we had, and we're really blessed to have had them all on.
Yeah, and every chance I get, I'm trying to whisper your guys' company name into ears. Like
Yeah,
when I just came down in June to Sneaky D's, I brought my cousin and her boyfriend. Never been to deathmatch, never been to a no show or a no ring show. Now they're obsessed with it. Like, he's still talking to me about it now. He's like, "Man, what's the next one? Like, oh,
yeah.
where can I
I think
watch
once
it?"
when people come, they usually get hooked pretty quick. I mean, there's nothing else like what we do, especially with our no ring shows. Like, there really is no other experience, I don't think, that you can go to in Canada, probably. Like, across the country, there is no ring experience like ours. There is other no rings that take place, of course, some here in Ontario, some in Quebec, some elsewhere, but I don't think there's any that can hold a candle to what we do. I think our no ring experience is excellent, and I think fans always get their money's worth. And I think that's a perfect jumping off point to, I don't know, do you want to announce the big news, or do you want to hold on to that? What do you think, Shadow?
Will allow you to do so, because come September 12th, Sneaky D's New Noise Volume 5, there's a match on the card, and I'll let you discuss and we'll get into it.
Of course, yeah. I mean, we talked a little bit about the Hardcore versus Josh Vandercruz feud, how Josh Vandercruz attacked Hardcore from behind, broke his leg. Legitimately, I could show you the X-rays if you want to see them. Send us a DM. I'll show it to you. He legitimately broke his leg. Hardcore was out for months. He missed so many opportunities last summer, and it's a guilt I have to carry as a matchmaker. But he has come back with a fury. I mean, he is back and he wants his revenge. He tried to get his revenge at the Crazy Eight, couldn't get it because of Josh and his shithead crew in the industry. So now, one final meeting, Shadow. You know this. We've announced it at the last show. Well, that's part of it. We announced that it was going to be Hardcore versus Josh Vandercruz in a casket match, the first ever no-ring casket match. But the news is that this match is going to be sponsored by Off the Top.
Sir, we're excited to be a part of that and helping bring the first ever no-ring casket match to Sneaky D's, September 12th, Toronto, Ontario. Legendary venue. Two superstars that absolutely hate each other are going to go balls to the walls, and I cannot wait. I'm glad to be supporting them and you guys and everything we can do.
Yeah, I mean, your support means the world to us. It legitimately is the kind of thing that helps a small company like ours keep going, is having people like you on board that not only, you spread the word like nobody else. You do an amazing job with that, but you also put your money where your mouth is, right? Like you talk about how much you love our product and you come out and you support us. And that's huge, right? That's what helps us grow and helps us stay in business and all those wonderful things. So, this match is fully presented by you and your team. So it is completely put on by you guys. We're going to have Off the Top banners everywhere. It's going to be a great look. We're super excited to have you on board for this. And these two guys are going to try to kill each other, maybe legitimately in there. It is going to be a bloodbath. It is going to be, everything you want from a hardcore deathmatch wrestling match. This match is going to have for you.
I cannot wait to see the looks that Billy and you are going to get as you carry a casket down College Street into Sneaky D's.
Knowing Sneaky D's, it's probably not the craziest thing that's been carried in there, but
or
yeah,
out of there.
we are, or out of there. We are super excited, though. I mean, as a team, it's something we've wanted to do, and we look at what New Fear City, the originators of the No Ring Deathmatch, have done with it, and we want to take what they've done and done an amazing job with. We want to keep pushing it. We want to keep trying new things and seeing where this no ring thing can go. And part of that is having people like you helping us put on matches like this, where we're going to do the first ever no ring casket match. It has never been done before, and we can do it because of support from people like you.
I've said this, and I've talked to a few friends about it, and they're like, "Oh, why are you throwing money at this?" Well, I believe in the vision, and I've told you that right from the beginning. I've never wavered from that. We have had conversations about that. I truly believe in what you're doing is in Southern Ontario, and I think Canada is your literal canvas to go with it. And I believe that you guys will take it across Canada when you're ready, and the venues are there, and the crowds are there. But until then, I'm going to try to be at every show I can be, granted my own schedule, busy dad. But I truly believe, and I said this all throughout the series when I started this deathmatch series, I truly believe in everything you guys are doing. And it's a thanks to you, and I mean this, I've gotten the opportunities to talk to wrestlers from all over North America right now.
I appreciate that. I mean, I think you got to give yourself a lot of credit too. I mean, and you talked earlier about how, it's been, some scheduling conflicts, and I'll say to everyone, like, that's been on my end. You've been very patient, and I sincerely appreciate it. You could have said F off if you've canceled on me this many times, but you never did. And I appreciate that a lot. And you know as well as anyone what the vision was in the beginning. I mean, if we talked in November of 2024, 2 years ago, and I think if if your listeners go back and listen to that, I think you can compare it with what we've done and seeing that there was a vision and it has been focused on of building a scene that's bigger than our company. I think we've done that. I mean, I think we're seeing no rings pop up everywhere now. London has a no ring show coming up. Other companies are doing amazing things in no ring, not necessarily because of us, but amazing no ring things are happening around Canada now, and we're part of that movement. And we focused on our own talent. I mean, we focused on really building guys who can take what they're learning on shows that we're putting on, and they can use that elsewhere. I mean, we're seeing guys go everywhere. And again, that just goes, I think, further proves the idea that this is not about necessarily just Canadian deathmatch the company. This is about building a scene that is deathmatch in Canada.
Man, again, I'd be bullshitting you if I think I said this back then too. I wasn't familiar with deathmatch. Obviously, hardcore wrestling, everybody is.
Yeah.
But like, I was put on to you guys by somebody. I don't even think they follow me anymore. It doesn't matter who it was. But I was put on to you guys by somebody. And I've not looked back. And as time's gone on, I've really invested. As you see, I'm constantly sharing posts or liking posts or commenting. And even when other wrestlers from just that I've met through you guys, I'm trying to build this with them and help them and push content to maybe people they wouldn't normally push it to. But man, it's such a nice thing. And I speak like this, and you take it as you will. But I feel like I've been here since the ground level. The sky is still the limit, not the limit anymore. You guys are just going and going and going. And I'm still here, still supporting. Now I'm able to get to shows because my schedule kind of pulls it a little bit. In April, I was able to bring my 2 older children, my partner with me. They all loved it. In November, when you have the ring show again in Hamilton, I plan to bring my 2 little ones as well. So it's going to be a whole family event.
There's a nice surprise coming for that show. I can't say it yet, but there is a huge surprise coming to that. One of the best deathmatch wrestlers of all time is going to be on that. You can share that. We're going to have one of the best deathmatch wrestlers, one of the most talked about prominent deathmatch wrestlers of all time is going to be on that show.
I've already told my partner, I'm like, we're going in November because my daughter wanted to go the last time. Obviously, I won't be as close this time. I'll be up in the balcony just for the little safety of this one. But it's not that much safer, but it's a little bit safer.
It is a little safer. I agree.
Probably have them wear goggles or something.
Yes.
But the amount of glass that flies, and I'd be lying if my partner said that she didn't understand where the fuck these light tubes were coming from by the end of that show.
Falling out of our
that's kind of where she was like, where are these coming from? But I got to tell you a little funny story because she teaches herself, and she was at a construction site teaching. And in the corner of the room, there was a stack of light tubes. And it ran through her mind that she's got to bring them to you guys.
I mean, yeah, we never look at light tubes again after coming to one of our ring shows. That's for damn sure.
Man, I'm so glad that we could do this and sit down and talk. And September is the next show. You guys are building an amazing card. The talent keeps getting announced. Almost every other day, somebody's popping up on the show. I'm excited for September, man.
It's going to be great. I mean,
go ahead.
It's going to be a great show. I mean, we've announced most of the talent now, and now it's just presenting the matches. We've got 2 matches announced so far. It's going to be PD Skills defending that title against Matthew Cash, who's been really chomping at the bit to get his hands on some gold. You know, he had his chance against Brandon St. James. He was the last one eliminated in the Crazy 8. And now he's got his chance at PD Skills. He would love to end the reign of PD Skills before Tyler Arrow can potentially get to him. Although we don't know which decision Tyler Arrow is making yet, but we will find out soon.
Hey guys, if you haven't yet, make sure you're going to their websites. I'll make sure they're on the link in the description. If you're around Toronto or close enough to get to Toronto, make sure you're coming out. If you're closer to Hamilton when the shows happen in Hamilton, or if they're having another show down in maybe Dunnville or something that they're co-working with, try to get out and support these guys. Before I wrap up with my closing statements and allow you to close up with yours, me and you both know Sneaky D is a very iconic building in downtown Toronto. It's legendary, beyond legendary.
Yeah.
A lot of bands that are big come out of there or played there or, maybe had dinner there one day that sparked a whole album. Who knows, right? But when you got the news that this building was going to be, which is not anymore, going to be redeveloped, what went through yours, Maddie's, and Dylan's minds? Because you had show for September planned, and there was potentially not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think Sneaky D's is so much bigger than the shows that we put on there. I mean, as a kid who grew up, somewhat in the punk scene, I mean, that venue has featured so many of the greatest punk bands that the world has ever produced. So there was that piece of like, oh, is this going to affect us? But I think it's the bigger piece of the culture that felt like maybe it was going to go away. Those kind of venues, and we've seen it with Absinthe here in Hamilton. I mean, we ran a no ring show at a venue, and within a year it was gone. So these kind of venues are so critical to cities being able to have culture and produce culture, and giving giving bands and other kinds of acts the opportunities to grow and foster these scenes. So yeah, I think my bigger piece in my mind was kind of the idea of what's this going to do to Toronto, than what's it going to do to us. I mean, we can always find another venue if we need to. Obviously, we're
Yes.
very happy at Sneaky D's, but we're so happy that Sneaky D's is sticking around. That it's not going anywhere. It's going to be around for a long time. They love having us. We love going there. So I mean, there's really no reason for us to not run Sneaky D's regularly moving forward. So we look forward to that for sure.
And I think I told you this. Maybe I'm absent-minded. If when we talked at Sneaky D's back in June, that venue holds a special place in my heart too. Because when it moved to that location, because it was at another
Hmm.
location before it settled there, my
Yeah.
dad was one of the people that renovated that current location. I don't know if it's still the renovation that happened from then or not.
Yeah, I
Don't
don't know
know.
either.
But back in the '90s, my dad was a part of that, building that
That's so cool.
slab venue.
Yeah.
When I was that big, just to be able to put off the top media on that wall, much as a full circle moment for me.
Heck yeah. I mean, I think that's awesome. Shadow, my phone's at 1%, so I'm gonna wrap this up
Yes,
for
sir.
us. But I just wanted to say thank you for having me. Thank you for all your support. We very much look forward to having you and your brand be a huge part of this next show. I mean, it means, like I said, it means a lot to us to have you there and have Off the Top be part of this. And we really look forward to continuing to support us, and we're going to support you, and continue making awesome art together in these coming years.
Let's do it, man. Thank you for coming again. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been ShadowSphere. Peace.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.